This story begins with 5 guys who take charge of doing justice at the Institute. They are all walking together until Ibaguchi Takui hears a girl calling for help. When he approaches, he jumps off the roof to defend the girl. It's about 3 men who want to hurt her, but Takui confronts each of them. Even though it's 3 against 1. Takui fights very well until little by little his companions arrive. Each of these guys has a different personality. Arisawa now is the second of the 5. When Takui approaches, he is the one who takes care of supporting with words. Afterward, Tairaku Jun appears. At this moment, he takes photos and videos of what was happening since he is the technological guy of the group. When the 3 of them are about to leave, one of the bad guys pulls out a gun. But what he doesn't know is that Yaochi Jiru is the sword genius of the 5. When the fight seemed over, Yaochi confronts the 3 aggressors and beats them. Last but not least, Mishu Toshi appears, who is the Casanova of the group and also a master of combat. Now that we know all our heroes, we continue with the story. It turns out that same morning, Aso Gina is late for her first class and observes how Toshi hugs the girl they rescued. She thinks that Toshi is very romantic and that the 2 make a cute couple. Aso arrives at the institute and runs into a teacher. The teacher explains to her while walking to classes that they advance according to the performance of each study group. Since Aso has very high grades, she will be with the students of her very own class, a special group where she deserves to be. Before Aso enters the classroom, she sees Toshi hugging a girl again, this time a different one from the one the 5 had rescued. Aso thinks that is very wrong, but since she doesn't know him yet, she doesn't want to judge. The guys already knew Aso was transferring because her parents worked a lot, and she was always transferred from one institute to another, and our technological June had already taken care of collecting data about her. The 5 always know a little bit about every student. They have to fulfill their duties, participate in events, and protect whoever they can. Takui just wants a normal life and at the same time likes being with the 5, and in the special group of the institute, these 5 guys and the others in the classroom were anxious to meet Aso. She would be the first girl to enter the special study group. No other girl had obtained grades high as to be able to belong. What a surprise for Aso. The guys arrived late to their class, and when they entered, everyone approached her and greeted her that way. But Toshi, in particular, takes her by the face, removes her glasses, and tells her that she looks much prettier without them. Aso feels invaded, so she stands up from her seat and directly slaps Toshi. Toshi tells her in front of everyone that she is not the typical girl who falls in love so easily with a guy like him. June smiles and is glad that Aso is finally the first girl to reject him. While in the classroom, there is a bit of a stir because Aso is a special girl. My respects to her. But Toshi, instead of being offended, takes it as a new challenge. He decides to conquer Aso. The first thing that occurs to Toshi is to tell Aso that he is going to put her words to the test. He has to find out if she won't fall in love despite his efforts. And so, while Toshi arrogantly persuades Aso, he gives her glasses back. It turns out that Toshi broke them, but like a true gentleman, he is going to take responsibility. He comes the next day and the 5 warn Aso that it is a dangerous season in the place. Toshi wants to accompany her home, but she refuses. As Aso walks away, 4 thugs approach her to harm her with some bats. Luckily, the guys appear and protect her. At that moment, Aso understands that Toshi had not offered to take her home with bad intentions. Truly, he wanted to protect her. After this, everyone separates, and Aso and Toshi finally go home together. Along the way, some female admirers of Toshi run into him. Since he is accompanying Aso home, they ask if the 2 of them are a couple. Toshi says yes, but Aso contradicts him. One of the admirers tells her that it's not common for him to be with the same girl for very long, which makes him lose his charm. Aso gets upset and explains that what makes him lose his charm is being after one girl and then another. The admirers don't understand what they are referring to and think Aso is a bit weird, so they leave them alone. Toshi likes the reactions Aso has to everything, so he confesses that maybe he is the one who will fall at her feet soon. He tries to hug her, but she rejects him once again. A day after classes begin, all the girls who had dated Toshi gather to confront Aso. They hurt her and throw her lunch on the floor. Aso defends herself and tries to make them understand that if they have any problem, they have to resolve it directly with Toshi, not with her. As Aso expresses what she feels, Toshi is watching everything that happens, takes Aso and hugs her, and clarifies to the girls that he is not interested in any of them, and that he does not need them. After several events, Aso decides to distance herself from Toshi to see if the girls finally stop bothering her. She gets closer to Takui, Nao, Yuchi, and June. But unfortunately, every time she does, different groups of girls hound her. Aso feels a little overwhelmed. It seems like the girls feel they own the 5. Due to this, she isolates herself a bit from everyone since she feels she is causing a lot of problems. Because of all this, everyone except Toshi offers her their most sincere friendship and promise to help her with everything she needs. Aso is very glad about this. She always thought she was going to have a group of girlfriends, but deep down, it's not bad if she has a group of male friends. And what friends, right? But what she didn't know was that Takui was falling in love with her. When the 5 made that promise to support her as friends, he had to make it too. And it is shown that he was going to renounce everything he felt for Aso, even though it hurt him. After all that, the exam season began, and with it, the dangers of the place also approached. Casually, Toshi did not go to classes that day, but Aso asks the four why they don't insist on reporting the violence problem at the institute. But everyone, including the teachers, mentions that making a report there is completely useless. What is the name of this institute? Venezuela? Anyway. On the other hand, in the camera room, there is a dark group planning something to attack Aso and watching every step she takes. The exam week was heavily attacked. Luckily, she was never alone. A suspicious girl approaches her to ask her to go somewhere suddenly, and Aso sees nothing weird about it. Rather, she is glad that she will finally have a friend after so much time. It turns out that this is obviously a trap. The new friend takes her to a dark staircase, goes back to get something she forgot, and ends up leaving her alone. At that moment, another guy arrives and gives an electric shock to Aso, who falls to the ground and passes out. Aso's supposed friend looks for Toshi and leads him to where she is unconscious. When he takes her in his arms and asks her to wake up, the other girl locks both of them in a hidden place of the institute. And furthermore, there is no phone signal. So Toshi and Aso will have to spend the night locked in there. When it is all dark, Toshi confesses that he is afraid of the dark. Before he seemed very brave, but like everyone, he has a weak point at some point. At dawn, the surprise is that they lock 3 members of the 5 in with Toshi and Aso. Only Takui is left so he can rescue them. Then Toshi makes a smart move. Once he heard that Aso changes her personality when she takes caffeine, while she was unconscious, they give her some caffeine, and she starts fighting with all the aggressors. And when the caffeine effect wears off, Takui arrives and rescues them in time. A time after all this commotion, the exam results are given out at the institute. The 5 obtained the best grades in the classroom. Aso placed in 19th position, but something was wrong there. They had to find out what altered the results, and the executive board of the school council could be to blame. The next day, Masato, the grandson of the director of the institute, visits the classroom of the 5. Everyone knew Aso, obviously, for being new. Masato likes Aso, and without any shame tries to conquer her. And to her surprise, Toshi does nothing to prevent it. When Masato invites her on a date, she says no. However, Toshi advises her to go, which Aso accepts. Takui knew that Masato only liked to play with women, so to prevent it, he goes and ambushes Aso to keep her heart from getting broken, since Toshi wasn't going to do anything for her. Takui took responsibility into his own hands in this matter. And so, while Masato and Aso eat ice cream, visit shops, and have fun, Takui tries to find them. And when he finally finds them, he cannot prevent anything between them. For his part, Masato realizes that Aso loves Toshi, yet tries to give her a kiss. At that exact moment, the very same Toshi appears, separates them, and protects her with a hug. Masato asks him how he knew they were there, and the answer was held by Takui. But Takui, instead of trying to separate Aso from Masato's arms, preferred for Toshi to do it. It turns out that Takui was very brave and loyal to his friend as well, because he renounced his love for Aso, just so that the one who claimed her first could keep her. Now that is a good friend. Be like Takui and say no to stealing your friend's crush. Returning to the drama, when Masato leaves, Aso runs after him, asks him not to leave, and begs him to please be her friend. This girl is desperate for friends. At that, she hugs him, and when she touches his chest, she realizes that Masato is not a boy, but a girl. It turns out that the 5 always knew the truth, and that's why they apologize to Aso for not warning her beforehand. Anyway, Aso takes Masato's hand and asks her to be her friend. Masato, surprised and with eyes full of tears, takes Aso and gives her a hug, and then says goodbye to her. The 5 thought she had given her a kiss on the mouth, but in reality, it was on the cheek. That was her secret. Faced with this, Toshi regretted very much not having kissed Aso first before Masato. Later on, the executive board plans the kidnapping of Arisawa now. A woman locks him in her apartment, sits him down, and serves him some tea. The idea is to force him to marry her. When Aso finds out, she gets furious because she cannot believe that exists in this century. Then the guys plan the rescue of their friend Arisawa, and after a great fight, they manage to rescue him. In the following episodes, after this, Toshi takes Aso to a place alone and tries to give her a kiss and asks her not to fall in love with him. Aso asks him why he insisted on kissing her, but Takui interrupts him and warns Toshi that if he just wants to play with her, he is not going to step out of the way so easily. Also, another day in the sports competition, the executive board organizes each activity, and it is so difficult that everyone has to strive hard to pass. The 5 explain to Aso that the executive board of the school council are the ones who control the activities of the institute and that they plan everything from the camera room. Right after they talk about this, the board gives a message to the entire institute, and the message says that in the sports competition, anyone can carry a weapon. June and the others hack the database of the executive board and discover that the competition is called African Savannah, which means it will be outdoors and is as difficult as never before. When they are about to open the folder with the details of the competition, the board discovers them and has a short discussion with the five. Then on the second day of the sports competition, everyone is positioned on the field with their respective weapons and waits for the order to start. This already looks like the Hunger Games. The first obstacle is to solve a super complex equation with a kind of blackboard, and June is the most prepared to solve it, so he approaches the blackboard and does it with total ease. The guys had an advantage in that first obstacle. Takui recognizes it and says that the executive board made a mistake by putting this first test. Minutes later, the second test of the competition is a shopping battle. Whoever manages to bring the product in the shortest time is the winner, and so it corresponds to the five to bring row of Pollock as if it were nothing. Arisawa now sends a drone and they are victorious once again. Suddenly, the next obstacle is to escape from the claws of disguised demon men who block the path of the groups. Whoever defeats them the fastest will be the winner. Everyone starts fighting and defending Aso, and they win. Finally, the last test arrives, and this is a battle royale obstacle course. There are two parts. The first is dodging the traps, and the second is fighting with a large group of guys with knives. The five face the guys with knives and give some caffeine to Aso, which makes her jump into action to fight. After this, Toshi and Aso are left alone in the middle of the forest, and when Toshi tries to kiss her, a knife is thrown through the air, but luckily he manages to dodge it. He gets furious and hits his opponent so hard that Aso falls down the mountain. At the end of the competition, the board proclaims the five as winners, and Toshi and Aso raise their flag. That night at the camp, Aso takes care of healing everyone's wounds. Her weapon is an emergency kit. Although everyone is injured, they are very happy to have won and begin to throw a party. The next day, Aso placed 11th, which is not enough, so she has to take summer classes in order to qualify for the top places again. She doesn't want to be alone, so the five promise to be with her whenever she needs them, and thus, the school year ends, but these friends promise to remain united forever. We have reached the end of this summary. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, and until next time.